Hi everyone, my name is Tanmaya Kalra and I'm currently pursuing my MA in Conflict Resolution from King's College London. Before this, I've done my undergrad in History and International Relations from King's itself. During my undergrad, I learned about various different conflicts, the history of the conflicts, the reasoning behind the conflict, as well as the continuity. I always thought, how can these conflicts be resolved? What is the solution? How can the world retain its peace again? As I was thinking over these thoughts, the number of the conflicts in the world multiplied, but the question remained. Hence, I chose to study conflict resolution in divided societies as my master's. I got introduced to the work of Arts for Refugees through the War Studies department and realized we share the similar ambition. Arts for Refugees not only looks at finding possible resolution, but also focuses on rebuilding the communities and societies post conflict. They do not only bring awareness through their work, but also bring hope that a world without conflict is a possibility, and the humanity can heal itself by working on the issues together. These ideals not only attracted me to be a part of the team, but made me realize the importance of hope that we as a community are losing in the middle of ongoing conflicts. My introduction to feminist discourse and debate happened in the second year of bachelor's, wherein I had taken a module on women in conflict. The prevalence of conflict related sexual violence, CRSV, not only shocked me in the beginning, but also made me ponder hard over the situation of men and the non binary populations. On researching, I realized it is not that they are not suffering from the same fate. It's just that their voices have remained unheard for the longest time. They are unfortunately struggling in anonymity. This not only makes it all the more prevalent and daunting, but the lack of the recognition and acknowledgement allows perpetrators to lead a normal life, whereas the victims remain distressed. This research not only aims at highlighting the struggles of men and non binary populations facing sexual violence in conflict zones, but also focuses on the inherent social and cultural biases. The fact that the society refuses to see men as more than perpetrators makes it extremely difficult for the victims to articulate their sufferings. As it is said, there are not enough words in English that can describe sexual abuse or rape against men or non binary. The societal construct around the phenomenon makes it impossible for the victims to reach out. They end up living in post traumatic stress disorder, keep on dwelling in their anxieties, and replaying the horrors of the past. This not only makes the crime underreported or unresearched, but also hinders the international organization and legislatures in creating an adequate response to this crisis. There are almost zero support systems and structures for the male and non binary victims of CRSV present in post conflict rehabilitation camps. The recognition of CRSV against men and non binary by the international community took place very recently in 2013 with the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2106, wherein the horrors of the Syrian conflict made it absolutely impossible to look away from the consequences of the crime. In addition to this, the staggering numbers that came from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, Peru, Liberia, and Sudan further substantiated the salience of taking an action. The 2019 United Nations Security Council Resolution 2467 acknowledged the need for enhanced medical and mental health support for the survivors of sexual violence. Whereas the recent conflicts have managed to garner international attention towards CRSV and have put forward a gender neutral approach, for it to be successful, a lot of work has to be done on ground. It is extremely important to create a strong discourse on these issues and highlight the repercussions of the psychological warfare, wherein it is not just the women who are being blatantly targeted, but every human being. As Julia Nelson states, gender refers to the cultural construct on the basis of actual perceived differences between males and females. Sexual violence has also been perceived on the similar grounds in the society. The attributes society tag on the masculinity and femininity makes it difficult to separate the biases and perceived notions from the actual crime. The fact that in most cultures men are supposed to be tough, fight their battles alone, not express their emotions openly, makes it impossible to look at the violence from the lens of humanity alone. The notions of perceived masculinity clash with the ideas of victimization, as the biases further questions the ability of the sufferers or the victims to be masculine. The incompatibility between masculinity and the victimization occurs both at the level of attack, wherein the men should have been able to prevent it, and secondly, in dealing with the consequences of the violence, wherein they are supposed to cope as a man. These issues have not only delayed the acknowledgement of the crisis, but has made it difficult to create a policy in its prevention. However, legislatures and gender neutral laws can only be beneficial if the societal and cultural norms are neutralized. It is high time that we as a society, as a community, start normalizing sexual violence as just sexual violence and not a gendered approach. Rape as rape and torture as torture. The gendered approach we have now diminishes the capability of a comprehensive response. We must create accountability of these crimes, and justice must be served to all the victims alike. There is no difference in the trauma they tackle. Why the response is different? As it is said, justice delayed is justice denied. I believe we, as the upcoming generation of the blooming international order, would not like to shoulder the blame of unserved justice. Thank you. I hope you have a good day. Just think about it. Why is it that only females are considered to be recipient or to be the sufferers of sexual violence? Why are the men and the non-binary who suffer from the same fate just not recognized and acknowledged of being through the same distress? Just think about it. Let's normalize it and let's take an action. Thank you.